is being recorded right now. So last session we talked about literature survey as a very important section in your proposal and also in your thesis. So in any research work, because in a literature survey we essentially go and study similar works that other people have done um, that are close to our work, that are close to our idea. So the work doesn't need to be necessarily like similar, like the same as our work or very similar, but it could have some common aspects to our idea. For example, their method might be similar to ours, or their area of work might be similar to ours, or their problem is similar to our work, but maybe their solution or their implementation or their data set is different. So there are various factors that are different between the related work and the work that we are doing. But still, we need to look over them and we need to study them and analyze them. Analyzing uh, work that is related to our research is very important. In analyzing the work that is related to our research, we are trying to find the common points and the points of difference and many other facts in the previous research, which we will uh, hopefully soon talk about. Okay, what we learned last uh, session was how to search for papers in a particular area. For example, if somebody tells you go search for papers in the area of energy um, efficiency in cloud computing, then you know where you need to search, where you go and search, where you do your search, which we introduced last session. And you also have the slides uploaded, so all the slides are uploaded there. Every document that you download um, needs to be evaluated and read. Sometimes it is important to know that the document that you download is uh, not, like has not been downloaded before, has not been uh, studied before. Every document published is now published with a unique identifier called digital object identifier. And this object identifier, which is also called DOI, is a unique and fixed identifier for objects that is specific to that object. For example, if you publish a paper, that paper has a unique identifier. That identifier is being managed by International DOI Foundation, which provides service to the publisher. So every publisher gets a subset of the DOIs available. DOIs are in the form of a URI or a unique, unified resource identifier. We will actually uh, look at the URIs shortly. Let's let me actually share my screen. Okay. All right, I'm going to actually share. This window. So do you guys see my window? the Google Scholar window. Okay, so this is where we search for some the papers in the topic that we want. Salam. Salam alaikum. Okay, so do you see my screen? I need an answer from you guys. Do you see my screen? I just want to make sure that you see my screen. Just type if you do. Type a plus or a minus if you don't. Hello? Everybody there? Okay, great. So if you see my screen, then then it's good. All right. So let's see. Let's start searching for papers in this topic: fire detection using machine learning. So we have a number of uh, papers. As I said, we may want to uh, actually limit it to a particular year, say only the 2022 papers. So this is one of them from Nature. First fire detection system using wireless sensor networks and machine learning. So this is the paper, and this. Here, of course, this website, which is the Nature magazine, has the abstract, the introduction, the names of the authors, uh, information about the article. When you want to cite this article in your paper or in your thesis, you use this information. Here is the DOI for this article. As you can see here, all DOIs start with HTTPS doi.org. And then there is this unique identifier right here after the doi.org, which is essentially the unique um, ID that is assigned to this paper. Every paper has its own unique ID that comes after the doi.org. So let me here open another browser page. On this page, if I enter this address and I start browsing it, it takes me right to the page that includes the paper. So you see this address? This is different from the original address of the paper. The original address is nature.com, articles, and then this ID. Here, the address is doi.org/10.10. 1038 slash S41598, blah, 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 blah. So this is the unique identifier that if you take it anywhere and go over the internet, it will bring you this paper. So this is unique for this paper. This is the digital object identifier that we talked about in the slide. Okay, so let's stop the sharing. Excuse me. So it's a good practice when you are citing a paper. It means that when you're putting the paper in your list of references, you also use their DOI, because the DOI both helps people find the correct paper, because sometimes two papers might have very similar titles, and also it provides the authenticity to the paper, meaning that this paper has really been published, and it has received a DOI. So it's kind of like giving you confidence in the authenticity of the paper. Yes, yes, of course. I have to actually share my. What I said was that when you search for a paper, say for example, you go to Google Scholar, this page, because this is one of the pages that we usually use for searching papers. Then you type in your topic, fire detection using machine learning, and then say I'm asking for papers that are in 2022. There's a number of papers here. One of them is this one. This one has been published by Nature, so this is the publisher, and cited by 20 other papers. So these are the papers that have cited that paper. This is the topic, the title of the paper. These are the names of the names of the authors, and the year of publication. If you click on it, sorry, if you click on this, it will take you to the page of the paper. At the bottom, we have the DOI for this paper. What I said was that using the DOI, say for example in this browser, using the DOI will also take you to the same page. So let me enter. If you enter using the DOI, it will take you to the same page. Okay. All right, guys. So before we proceed, I need to give you instructions on how to download papers that are not available online. If you remember, I told you that the Shaykh Tamrin University, our university, has uh, acquired access to international databases, digital libraries. So you as a student should be able to use this opportunity to access and download the papers. Uh, you can search the papers, find their DOI. If the DOI is not available, the paper itself is not available, you can get it from the digital library of Sheikh Shaman University. Let me actually run another example. Sharing my screen again. Okay, let's go on another paper searching site, IEEE Explorer. Here we search for papers, and let me bring another topic, say uh, brain tumor detection using MRI. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Brain tumor detection MRI. So look at this. So how many? 800 conference papers, 45 journal papers, a total of 851 papers on file. But some of these papers, actually most of the papers have a lock. So it means that the paper is not available for free. For example, let's let's go for this paper, deep learning approach for brain tumor detection and segmentation. I click on it. In the IEEE website, IEEE is the publisher for this. If we click on the PDF, it will ask us, okay, it says either access to your institution or sign in with your username or password. I don't have a username and password, so I have to access to my institution. The abstract of the paper is here, of course, and other information including the DOI. So I copy the DOI because I can't access this paper from here. The paper is not available, as you can see. And if you click on the PDF, it doesn't give you the paper. So I have to go to the SCU's digital library. Let me actually translate this, okay, so that you can see it in English. You enter your email, register your email, and here it will ask you, this is a search page. Let me see if I can actually translate this page. Translate. Okay, all right. Okay, so if you translate it to English, it says in the keywords section, it is possible to search for keywords, titles, authors, DOI, journal name, and ISSN. And here you need to indicate what kind of paper it is. We have to go to the publisher. Here is the publisher page. In this page, we have the abstract, the DOI, and the type of the paper is a conference paper, date of conference and international conference on convergence to digital world. Okay, so this type of paper can be searched by its DOI. So I copy DOI, I come here, paste it here. So this is the DOI of that paper. Here I select conference paper because it's a conference paper. Other information like IEEE conference location, Mumbai, India. And anyway, so this paper, here we click on search. When you search, the paper comes, let me again translate this, shows up here. So here is the deep learning approach for brain tumor, proceedings of published in international conference on convergence to digital world. This is the name of the authors. So if you compare these with the original paper name of authors, same thing. And then we have the paper request here at the very bottom. Okay, let's see how long it takes. All right, okay. So it takes us to this page. If you translate it, it says, okay, if you want to download link, here is the download link. If you click on it, it should start. Start downloading. Yes. Okay, so here is the paper. The full text of the paper. Sorry, I have to share my screen again to show you the paper. I'll do that shortly. 1 second. Oops. Sharing. So here is the paper. 2020 International Conference on Convergence to Digital World. This is the title. These are the names and affiliations of the authors and so forth. So I got the paper. All right. So let's get back. Okay. So here's a screenshot of the page. If you don't have a question, I'm actually going to ask you to do a practice. Here is the practice that I'm asking you to do. It's a class practice, so you need to do it on your computer now. I'll give you time, maybe about 15 minutes, and then you do the work, create a Word file as your answer, and then submit it to the page. So here it is. Consider the following topic. Here is the topic: blockchain applications in IoT. This is the topic that you need to search papers. You need to find survey papers. By survey paper, we mean, as you know, papers that provide a literature survey in that area. So you need to search for survey papers in blockchain applications in IoT. The papers need to uh, be from the last 3 years. You need to download at least one of those papers, and you need to summarize the paper's information in a table similar to this. If you download 3 papers, the papers go by number 1, 2, 3. And then you need to have the name of the publisher, the year of publication, number of citations received by the paper, DOI, impact factor, looking at the journal that it's been. You know how to find the impact factor of a journal, correct? So because your last assignment was to go find the impact factor of a few journals. And the name of the first author. Once you do this, on the site, I have already created an assignment called class assignment 1. And you have 15 minutes to finish this. You can submit 2 files. One file is the file of the paper. Another file is the Word file that contains this table and your name. So you need to have a Word file that contains your name and this table. Okay, if everybody is okay and has and if everybody has understood my instructions, I will keep this page on, and then I will mute my microphone. You have okay. I will uh, repeat. Go on paper searching search engines such as Google Scholar or IEEE Explorer AC and Digital Library. Look for survey papers. I need 3, at least 3, in the area, in the topic of blockchain applications in IoT. You need to download at least one of them. You know how to download the paper. It's either available on the internet. If it's not available on the internet, you come to the university by using your internet connection, your dialer, and take advantage of the digital library. Then you need to fill out this table, which includes information about the 3 papers that you found. If it's clear, then all right. Okay, so I mute my microphone. It's 4:38 our time. Probably it's 4:08 your time. You have until so it's 4:40, 4:50. Once you do this, go on LMS and submit your Word file and your paper to the by by the documentation to the LMS. Okay, guys, you have 5 more minutes to finish this. No, this is not a research, it's a practice. Unfortunately, I can't postpone it. I can give you another 5 minutes, so you have until 4:30 your time, which is 5 p.m. our time. Even if you don't download the paper, you need to fill this table, create a table in Word and similar to this, and fill it with the information from the already on the page. I mean, I don't know why you guys want this repeated. Let me remove all these lines. Okay, so you see the question now. The question is on the page, slide page. Our next session is about critical reading. What do we mean by critical reading? Up to now, we talked about and we practiced how to search the paper databases, the scientific databases for papers in a particular topic, how to look at the paper's reputation, journal's reputation, and we would like to more download papers from journals that have a higher impact factor or CiteScore, the journals that are more reputable, because we don't want to read a paper from a very low uh, reputation journal, the journal that has very low or even no impact factor, because we don't trust it. The higher the impact factor, the higher the reputation of a journal that you find the paper or the conference, the higher the number of citations of a paper, the more confidence you can have in the paper and being a reference for your work. Once you find all those papers, you create a table of the papers that you found, it's time to read them. Reading needs to be a critical one. Means that you just don't read the papers accepting all the content in them. You read the paper for the purpose of finding issues and learning from them and criticizing the content and making sure that the paper is useful for your work. So this is the next section in our work. We will probably have a couple of more slides on critical reading, and then next session we will actually go in depth of how we read a paper. So the principles of critical reading. The first principle is an objective reading. So an objective and realistic analysis. You shouldn't just read the paper as like a Bible, as a divine rule that uh, you accept it right away. It is just another work from other people, might have weaknesses and strengths. Therefore, you need to criticize various features of the paper that we will talk about. We have, of course, we have a pessimistic rule that says an online research that has not been published in a good publication after a few years has potential issues. Therefore, don't look at articles that have not been published in a publication, in good publication, in good journal. Many research works, even those that have been published in journals, in good journals may have gone some wrong direction. So you need to you just don't accept everything in the papers with blind eyes. Uh, Criticize them. Make sure that you understand the work. Working on sometimes papers have worked on a solved problem, so they propose a problem that has been already solved. They may be using useless technologies. They may make mathematical mistakes. Their theories might be unrealistic, so they make an assumption that is not really uh, practical. So when they say assume, blah 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 blah, assume something, you need to think about it whether that assumption is realistic. Sometimes papers have good assumptions, have good theories, but the data sets that they use are very small, or the data sets are not relevant, or they have issues. Again, with bad data sets, the results are not accepted. A few points on reading papers. Number one, group the downloaded papers according to their technical topic. So if you download like 20 papers to read, 50 papers to read, it's good to download them based on their topic, those that have a closer topic. For example, if you want to do fire detection in images, some papers might be doing that using a statistical uh, image processing. Some papers might be doing fire detection using machine learning. Some others might be doing deep learning. So you need to categorize them in three groups. One, uh, papers who do image processing, by statistical image processing, detect fire in videos or images. Some of them do deep learning, some of them do regular machine. Write your criticism about each paper. This is number two. We will talk about it next slide. So when you read a paper, you need to be critical and write your criticism down. Say, okay, I don't think this part is correct, or I have a question why they made this decision. I don't understand why this result came out of this test, and these kind of questions. As you go through the papers that you downloaded, find new papers that are more relevant. Add them to your list. Delete irrelevant or weak papers. So if you read a paper and find that it's a weak paper, it's not reliable, I mean, you don't believe it, delete it, put it out. Papers reviewed in survey papers. So if you read a survey paper, inside the survey paper, there are many papers that are surveyed. You don't need to go download those individual papers and read them unless they are very important, unless there are details in those internal papers that you don't find them in the survey paper. Because survey papers actually do the review for you. So you just go read the review, and in many cases the reviews are very helpful. But sometimes the survey paper doesn't go into details of the reviewed papers that they reviewed. They just review the papers very quickly in a short paragraph. So you don't have the technical details, or the survey and the review is vague. It's not clear. So then you have to go to the references, find the name of that paper, and go download it and read that one. So these are four main points here. In the next slide, we will discuss critical questions that you need to ask yourself when reviewing and reading a paper. Because we are close to the end of the session, I will actually, and we have a huge number of questions here, and each question needs to be explained. I will upload all these slides for you soon, and we'll leave the this part, paper reading, for next session. I'm ready for any questions that you might have. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, today's session is over, and we will continue from this point next week. Excuse me. If you have a question, uh, you can raise your hand and I'll open your voice. Okay, so looks like nobody has a question, and we have 15. Okay, guys, have a good evening and talk to you next.